Hey everybody, this is Joey with homebrewyourownbeer.com. If you clicked on the video, you've probably seen I was on social media putting together an experiment, and I kind of hinted what we was doing, so today we're going to go over it. What I've decided to do is a customer came in the store the other day and he was asking me about washing your yeast. How do you do it? What are the ins and outs? So I went over all the basics, kind of what I do and so forth and so on, and then he just kind of said, well, what if you just made a starter and split that in half, and then when you're ready for your next beer, make a starter from that, split that in half. So basically, instead of washing your yeast, you're essentially going to be using the same strain of yeast, it just never saw a beer. So based on some of my calculations on Yeast Health, I've chose to use one that has a 200 billion cell count. So if you did I used the proper starter cans, so that's the gravity of that's 1.040. Based on that math, that would leave you 332 billion cells. So once you split that in half, that leaves you with 166. I also did some math about, if that 166, if you made a starter from it instead of 200 billion, since it'd be slightly less, but overall the end up cell count would be roughly the same. So I figured, why not? I have done a recipe where I used 1056 for a full year. It was many different recipes, but I used the same strain from recipe to recipe to recipe. And quite honestly, by the end of the year, I thought the beers were turning out better. So I was really excited about that, and so I kind of wanted to do it again. So through my research, I was thinking to myself, what would be a great yeast to do something as an experiment like that? 1056 or American Ale, the Chico strain, all were definitely very commonly used yeast in the beers that I make, since I like to make a lot of IPAs, things of that nature. And doing a little research, I kind of thought, why not use a Kveik strain? Those are really popular right now. They do lager-like characteristics fermented on the low end. They're ales. It's an ale yeast, so no specialized equipment, but you can get those lager-like characteristics at the low end. At the very high end, these things have an insane threshold to heat. Right behind me right now, I've got a beer fermenting at, I believe, 87 degrees right now. It already, in less than 24 hours, is dropped from high crozin. So I figured, why not use that yeast, since it can go through so many different varieties. I have brewed with a little bit, and I've had great success. It does have some smooth characteristics. So I won't be doing any Belgian beers or wheat beers, German beers, styles, but I will your pale ales, IPAs. I even want to do a couple lager style beers with it. The other big reason why I wanted to do it is, being that we don't have a lab here or anything to count cell count, Kveik strains are known for having a very good survival rate at low pitch rates. Some people are intentionally pitching them at a very low pitch rate. So I figured, since we're going to be splitting the yeast so many times, why not use a yeast strain that can do really well at the lower temperature, or at the lower cell counts. So that was the one I went with. I chose Loci, or Loki, however you say it, by Imperial Yeast. It is the Voss strain. And so I've already done it and got my first beer going. I didn't remember to take a picture of the starter or anything like that. If I do, I will post some of the pictures here that I took. So let's see what we get. I'm doing a New England style right now, and normally I wouldn't want to wash that yeast because, quite frankly, on a New England style, there's going to be so much hops in there, I really wouldn't want to. Plus, I'm doing it at 85, 86, 87 degrees right now, so I really wouldn't want to reuse that yeast, but I saved half. I really don't know what would be the problem with doing it. It'll be a fun experiment. I'm kind of thinking at the very end, when I get completely done with going a full year on it, why not brew a 5-gallon batch and pitch half of it with the stuff that I used for a year, and then pitch the other half in a separate carboy with the other one, and see if we can tell a difference in the beers. Sounds like a lot of fun. If you guys want more info on it, or if you have any questions, give me a call. I'd love to answer as many as I can. Something that I think is going to be a lot of fun. We've got podcasts that are the third Wednesday of every month, where you can come in and we're going to do some of these examples. This is just one I chose to do something for my own fun, and I figured I would share it with you guys. If you haven't got a chance, check out Kveik strains. Are pretty neat. They're really popular right now. I've got Hothead, I've got so many different varieties of them coming in right now. So if you want to do this experiment with me, if there's anything I'm missing, or maybe when it comes to splitting yeast, I really don't know why you would wash yeast if you do it this way. And I do know after so many generations that a lot of people will say to change the yeast, but it's the fun of being a home brewer is I can do essentially whatever I want. So obviously, if the yeast gets contaminated, or if it just smells horrible, I'm going to have to end the experiment, wherever we're at. But I've done it in the past, like I said, and a year later, it was still rocking and rolling, and I just got lazy and just didn't see the need to go any longer with it. But like I said, comment below if you have any suggestions. Come to the store and visit and hang out and chat with me about it. But till next time, cheers.